As the number of deaths from COVID-19 across the globe exceeds 200,000, the World Health Organization has a new warning. Being infected once doesn't mean you can't be infected again. As lockdown measures start being eased here in Europe, children in Spain are now allowed to go outdoors. The daily death toll there has just fallen below the 300 mark. And speculation continues over the health and whereabouts of the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. We'll show you some satellite images which could offer a few clues. Welcome back to the France 24 newsroom in Paris. I'm Tom Burgess-Orson. Thank you very much for joining us. First, as the total number of known cases of COVID-19 across the globe edges towards the 3 million mark, the number of known deaths from the coronavirus now stands at more than 200,000. While Europe remains the hardest hit region, with 53,070 fatalities, however, the US has recorded the highest number of deaths of any single country, followed by Italy, Spain, France and the UK. Well, as governments start partially easing some of the lockdown measures, the World Health Organization has issued a fresh warning. Just because someone has already recovered from COVID-19, that does not necessarily mean that they can't be reinfected. France 24's Erin Ogukeye has more.
From a metro station here in Buenos Aires, to a gym in Milan, to this drive-thru in Los Angeles, countries across the world are ramping up serology tests. Touted as the key to reopening economies and lifting confinement measures, the blood samples test for antibodies that can indicate whether or not an individual has had COVID-19 and has theoretically developed immunity to it. Some governments have even suggested the use of immunity passports, though the World Health Organization has warned against such certificates, noting there is currently no evidence that people who have recovered from COVID-19 and have antibodies are protected from a second infection. In some countries, including South Korea, cases of reinfection have already been detected.
What we are discovering these days is that those fully cured and released, many of them have been found to test positive a few days after. There's a lot more that we need to learn about how the virus travels.
Adding to the list of unknown factors, how long antibodies stay in the body and the quantity required to ensure immunity. The WHO added that immunity certificates could even increase virus transmission by providing a false sense of security. Those who assume they're immune could be tempted to travel without taking precautions and thereby risk catching the virus again and contaminating others. Some public health experts have also questioned the reliability of serology tests. In France, 4 of 10 of them in development do not detect antibodies in cases where they should be present. And in the United States, of the 14 antibody tests already on the market, only 3 of them have delivered consistently reliable results.
Now, the number of deaths from COVID-19 in Spain is down sharply from its peak at the start of April, when the daily death toll was hovering around the 900 mark. Well, in the last couple of hours, the Spanish Health Ministry announced that the number of deaths has fallen to 288 during the course of the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of known fatalities since the start of the pandemic to 23,190. Well, after being confined to their homes for 6 weeks, children under the age of 14 are now allowed to go outside. France 24's Brian Quinn has more.
After 6 long weeks, finally a breath of fresh air. Spain's 7 million children are once again allowed outside. Since March 14th, they've been banned from leaving their homes for any reason. Starting Sunday, 1 hour of adult-supervised outdoor activity between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. is permitted within 1 kilometer of the home.
Ya se agradece salir a la calle porque ya en casa se hace muy pesado, aunque tengamos la Play y bueno, a veces hablemos con los amigos por WhatsApp, por videollamadas. Se agradece que nos dé un poco el aire, hacer un poco de deporte. Estábamos un poco agobiados ya en casa.
Spain's coronavirus lockdown has been one of the world's most restrictive, with no one allowed to leave the house except to buy groceries or medicine or briefly walk the dog. That has sparked criticism from parents, pediatricians, and psychologists who argue that fresh air and exercise are essential to health and well-being. But the harsh measures appear to be having an effect. Spain's daily coronavirus death toll fell to 288 on Sunday, its lowest since March 20th. The positive signs have led the Spanish government to begin relaxing restrictions on adults and teenagers as well.
Me gustaría anunciarles que si la evolución de la pandemia prosigue en un sentido positivo, como lo está haciendo hasta ahora, a partir del próximo día 2 de mayo se permitirá la salida para realizar actividad física individual y paseos con las personas con las que convivimos.
This coming week, the government is set to unveil a broader plan for gradually ending Spain's lockdown. The virus has claimed over 23,000 lives there so far, the third highest death toll after the United States and Italy.
Now, the French Prime Minister Edouard Philippe is expected to address the nation on Tuesday and unveil his strategy for how to end the lockdown, which has been in place here in France since the 17th of March. Well, President Macron has already said that he sees the easing of some measures on the 11th of May. Well, the death toll here in France from the pandemic currently stands at 22,614. And on Saturday evening, 369 new deaths were recorded for the previous 24 hours. Well, according to one poll published in today's Journal du Dimanche, only 39% of the French public have confidence in the government's ability to deal effectively with the virus. That's a drop of 7 points on a week earlier. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been out of action for most of April after he was diagnosed with COVID-19 and then hospitalised for a week. Well, he's due back at his desk in Downing Street on Monday and is expected to have a very full in-tray. Well, in his absence, the British government has faced severe criticism over the inadequate supplies of protective equipment used by medical staff. And also, the government is under pressure to lay out plans for how to end the lockdown. Well, the number of COVID-19 deaths in the UK is above 20,000, although that number only includes hospital deaths, not deaths in nursing homes. There have been protests along Poland's western border with Germany and the Czech Republic, as many crossing points remain closed. And that means that going to or from work has become extremely complicated for people on the other side of the Polish border. Well, it's all a far cry from the free flow of traffic during normal times. Our France 24 team went to find out more.
Over there is Bad Muskau, Germany. And this is Łęknica, Poland. People had almost forgotten there was a border here until it closed. Maria worked in a car parts factory in Germany.
To jest ten most, przez który codziennie od poniedziałku do piątku przejeżdżamy i wracamy z powrotem do domu. A od ponad 1,5 miesiąca już siedzimy zamknięci w domu, nie możemy dojechać do pracy.
Na początku stałem, że pół roku mogę siedzieć w domu, ale to się zmieniło w ciągu 2 miesięcy, że już po prostu tak jakby przymusowo muszę wracać do pracy, bo inaczej ją stracę. Jeżeli granica nie zostanie otwarta, to nie będę mógł wracać do domu, bo ja jedę w kwarantannę oczywiście, nie?
Some Polish workers opted to stay on the German side and keep their jobs, leaving children with friends or relatives. The protest violated social distancing rules, but had the sympathy of the municipal authorities.
Mam nadzieję, że protesty, również pisma, apele samorządowców przyniosą efekt.
The economy of these border regions depends on people being able to work in Germany. For Maria, a single mother of 2, getting a job in Poland is no solution.
Że mnie nie będzie na to stać. Także same rachunki to jest koszt ponad 4000 złotych. Ja tu na same rachunki to tyle też na pewno nie dostanę.
On the Polish-German border alone, 125,000 people are currently unable to get to work, with knock-on effects for hundreds of thousands more.
Now, social media has been buzzing the last few days with speculation about the health and the whereabouts of the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Well, he's been out of the public eye for quite some time now. And 10 days ago, he missed the commemoration of his grandfather's 108th birthday. And that added fuel to the speculation that something could be amiss. Well, according to satellite imagery, his personal train is parked at his compound in the east of the country. And that seems to tie in with theories put out by the intelligence sources in South Korea that Kim is staying outside of Pyongyang at that residence there you can see on your screens. Well, let's bring in our international affairs commentator, Doug Herbert. Doug, I mean, there's always lots of speculation and guesswork when it comes to North Korea. But it seems this time that something really could be amiss.
Could be, but we have to really underline the could be, the speculative nature of everything we're saying here, Tom. Because, look, reliable information is notoriously difficult to come by when it comes to North Korea and its leadership. And there's really a cloak of secrecy that surrounds just about everything, leaving experts, people who follow North Korea, intelligence analysts, all scrambling essentially in the dark to get even nuggets of information. That said, it all is conducive to a rumor mill, which is exactly what this is for now. Officially, South Korean, Chinese officials are trying to downplay the rumors and the concerns that Kim Jong-un is either gravely ill, as some reports have it, in a, quote, vegetative state, even that he may be recovering from heart surgery. All of these reports have been circulating, those and even more. Like I said, officials downplaying the concerns. But this being North Korea, reports of this nature have proven to bear out in truth in the past, or not, as the case may be. What we do know is that Kim Jong-un, the North Korean media, official state-controlled media, has not reported him in public in over 2 weeks. You have to go back to April 11th when he presided over a party meeting. So he's not been seen in any state images since then. Obviously, the fact that he did not attend what is North Korea's biggest holiday celebration, which is the commemoration of the birth of its founding leader, Kim Il-sung, but the fact he wasn't there on April 15th, that really started the rumor mill going. These satellite images showing what's purported to be perhaps his private train at a North Korean resort in the east of the country. Those have also fed the rumor mill. I will note, though, it's perhaps not empty rumors because the speculation is based on at least nuggets of information we know about Kim Jong-un. He is known to have grave health risks. One woman, an author, journalist who's covered him and written books about Kim Jong-un and North Korea, said that he's like a heart attack waiting to happen. He's known to have cardiac problems. At least the little doctors who've analyzed him from images have been able to see he breathes heavily. They believe he's had cardiac problems in the past or breathing problems. But then again, we do not know because medical information is simply not released. But we do know that the speculation is fast and furious right now. North Koreans themselves will be perhaps the last to know because their government releases almost zero information when it comes to the health and the doings of their officials.
And Doug, I mean, supposing it were to come to this, are there any ideas with regard to possible succession planning there in North Korea?
Yes, there are ideas, and no, there are no ideas. For the same reasons I just said, this cloak of secrecy means that it's all speculation. So what do? You base it on the people you see around Kim Jong-un. Often, in this case, his sister, Kim Yo-jong, who has been been seen by her brother's side at key summits recently, whether in the U.S. or in China, seen as a very powerful, potentially influential presence in the government. But then again, all speculation. I don't know her. Most intelligence analysts have never had a chance to see her up close or speak to her. People who even follow North Korea closely or even work there, it's all speculation for them. Some people say that there's perhaps a number 2 in the government hierarchy, Cho Ryong-hae, who would be the number 2 deputy under Kim, who could be seen as a figure ready to take the reins or take command. All of this lack of real knowing and reliable information about the line of succession in a nuclear state where the Kim dynasty is all this country has ever known leads to rampant speculation. There have been unfounded, unconfirmed rumors and reports that perhaps there are generals trying to seize power, that there are secret negotiations between Beijing and Washington to ensure that nuclear weapons don't fall into the wrong hands. We simply don't know. We do know there's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of questioning. There's a lot of speculation about what happens when you have a pariah state known for its cloak of secrecy with no clear line of succession beyond the Kim dynasty. What happens if one of them becomes suddenly and abruptly unable to govern? Watch this space because we simply do not know.
Indeed, and it might just be that Kim Jong-un is absolutely fine. His grandfather, after all, disappeared. He vanished in the 90s at one point. People thought he'd been shot. So perhaps he's absolutely fine. Thank you so much, our international affairs commentator, Doug Herbert. Thanks for bringing us up to speed on that. That's it from the France 24 newsroom. Do stay tuned.
At France 24, our goal is to follow the news around the world as it develops and keep you informed at all times.
The coronavirus pandemic is hitting us all hard, not just in France, but everywhere. We at France 24 are determined to provide you with reliable and verified information as the world confronts the biggest health crisis for a century.
Wherever we are, however best we can, we're trying our utmost to keep on bringing you the very latest news.
France 24 is on the ground, reporting from the field in English, French, Arabic and Spanish. Keep watching and reading on France24.com.
France 24, our mission is to inform you.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.